All right, so we've got 3 questions for this week's Q&A. The first one is from Robert, and he says, what are the best tools to analyze an FBA lead? So I'm not sure exactly what you mean by an FBA lead. If you're talking about like a product from like an FBA lead list that somebody's giving you, my honest recommendation is, like, first and foremost, I don't use FBA lead lists because I think that they lead to products that are saturated. And on top of that, even if they're not, eventually, the margin's going to shrink because who knows how many other people are getting those leads and those lists, right? So if that's what you mean, then I don't recommend that you use lead lists, and I don't do them myself, so I don't really have any recommendations about how to actually source or best tools to figure out what those are, right? But if you're talking about like a lead, like a potential product listing that you might buy, if that's what you're referring to, then there's a lot of different ways, right? The best tool, or you said tools, so the best tools would be, you got Keepa. That's going to show you a lot of different data. I don't pay for Keepa, but you can, obviously. You don't need to. I've done an entire video on Keepa. There's one in the course, I believe, in the Amazon selling tools, or like how to sell more on Amazon module, that will show you like how to use Keepa, all the different data that it's going to show you. The best part about Keepa, obviously, is like the price history, but also like the sales velocity and the sales over time. So you can get a lot of data from Keepa. That's a great tool to use. And also, if you're doing books, which I think you are, if you're doing books as well, I'm pretty sure Keepa comes with eFlip, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure it does. But regardless, Keepa's a phenomenal one. You also have Jungle Scout, which makes it very, very easy to just click the Chrome extension, then see the sales velocity of a product there. Now, obviously, with Keepa, you're getting more data because it's going to show you, price history over time. It's also going to show you sales velocity history over time, how that kind of product listing has changed over time, the sales of it and stuff like that, the competition on that listing and stuff like that. So I'd recommend Keepa for more data, but if you're just going through quickly and you're trying to see like sales velocity currently and judge it that way, Jungle Scout is a phenomenal tool. I highly recommend that. I use that myself. Other tools are, you want like a profit calculator off the top of my head. So I use AMZ Scout calculator. It's a free Chrome extension that you can download. Highly recommend that. Super fast. It saves like all the data on the product listing. So you can just type it in and judge it, and it'll tell you if it's profitable or not if you sourced it at a certain price point. Other ones are like, you have Online Seller Add-on, which is a tool that's going to show you all the different sellers on it, if they're FBA, what their prices are, if they're FBM, etc., etc. So coming to mind, like, those are the best tools that I use to judge product listings that I'm going to buy, if that's what you mean. But if you're talking about lead lists, honestly, I don't recommend using lead lists. So not sure which one you're talking about there. Hope that answers your question. If you have another specific question and I didn't answer it because I wasn't really fully sure what you're talking about, then just drop it on this video right here and I'll do my best to answer it, just like with words, right? Next question is, please do wholesale variations for product research. How to determine the selling rank and sales. Sometimes it's hard to know. Thanks so much. So yeah, with variations, you got to be careful when you're looking at a product listing with variations. The only thing about that is, like, you'll notice that like that, and this is exactly why I recommend either, like I just said, getting Keepa or just using Jungle Scout, but you have to make sure that you're not looking at the best seller rank, because the best seller rank, a lot of times, if you don't have any software or you're not using an extension like Jungle Scout or something, is not, I've noticed that like it changes sometimes when you change variations, but often it doesn't change on the variation and it just pulls up the parent listings best seller rank, right? So when you change variations, sometimes I've noticed it doesn't change the best seller rank on the actual listing, and so it can be difficult to judge those things, right? And so one of the things that I'd recommend is getting a tool like Jungle Scout and just making sure that if you're looking at a specific variation, make sure you're on that variation and then run Jungle Scout, right? And if you're looking at a different variation, make sure you change the variation and then run Jungle Scout again to get the numbers. So that's really the only tips that I have for like variations. You want to make sure that you're looking at the specific variation, that you have that toggled on, and then you're running the numbers on that variation. But that's really all I do to kind of, whether it's wholesale variations for products for a wholesale listing or you're sourcing like online arbitrage, doesn't matter. Just make sure you have that variation selected, okay? Next question. Looks like we have 4 actually. One popped up, I guess I didn't notice. So next one is from Jay. They said, do you think KDP is a good business model versus physical products in Amazon? Will you be teaching this as well in your course? So I'm assuming by KDP you mean Kindle Direct Publishing. Is it a good business model? Yeah, I, full disclosure, don't do Kindle and I don't teach it. I do know a little bit about it because obviously I do a lot of content and I used to produce a lot of content. Now I just kind of primarily focus on like information product courses and like videos a little bit. But I know a little bit about Kindle Direct because I used to tell people to like transcribe your stuff, put it on Kindle, also take the audio from your courses, put it as an audio book on Audible, sell them both that way. And what I've learned about Kindle from people that actually have made livings like doing Kindle is it used to be very, very good like 2 to 3 years ago because they used to have a different setup in their pricing model and how they paid people out. And I believe you'd get like $1 or $2 if somebody read like 10% of your book, which means if you put like a short book and someone read a couple pages, you'd get like a couple bucks every single time someone would read that, right? And so you could make a lot of money just pumping out short books on Kindle because that's the way that they paid people. And forgive me, like I'm not I don't know that much about this. It's just what I know anecdotally through other people that do it. But now the whole thing is they've changed that model and they literally, instead of paying like, I don't know if it's actually $1 or $2 for 10%, they used to pay that. Now they literally pay like 10 cents per like 10% of your book, right? So what I've heard now is you can't make nearly as much and you're literally getting pennies for the time that you're investing and it's not worth it. I've heard that's what I basically teach, but no, it's not in my course and I don't teach I don't teach anything like that. It's a reselling course. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. Hope that answers your question though. Layla's question is next, and this one's a long one. She says, "Hi Brian, it's me again, LOL. If you can please discuss the different marketplaces, Facebook, eBay, and some people are even getting onto Etsy. If you have enough time, can you talk about the benefits of drop shipping versus Amazon, and Amazon having a drop shipping program in the future, if you know, or how to drop ship onto Amazon?" I know that's a lot, but any responses are appreciated. Thank you so much for your time. So it's okay, totally fine. Love the question. There's a lot to unpack there, so we'll unpack them one at a time, okay? So basically you said, can I talk about the different marketplaces? Yeah, there's so many marketplaces that come to mind. I've literally started listing on a number of them, but we can talk about as I get a Facebook drop shipping order. One second. So I can talk about them really briefly. I'll just kind of go through them. What I'd recommend that you do is go to my YouTube channel. And one of the last videos, I believe it's let me check it really fast for you. It might be the last video actually. Let's see. Yeah, so it's literally the last video. So 13 marketplaces that you can drop ship on, okay? So I give a lot of insight. It's a 20-minute long video on like anecdotally different marketplaces and like my experience with them, just drop shipping, but also like, different nuances of them. That will really help you understand a lot of different marketplaces currently. I'll run through them really, really fast for you, but watch that video. It's really going to help you. If you're drop shipping, obviously it's going to help you a lot, or you want to get into drop shipping, it's going to help you understand that a lot. But even if you're just reselling, you're not drop shipping, it's also going to help you a lot, just understanding the different nuances of those. So briefly, I'll talk about them. Let me just 1 second. List Perfectly. I'll pull up List Perfectly and I'll talk about the ones that I list on. Also, let me pull my phone up. So the current marketplaces that I sell on, so I sell on Facebook Marketplace, so I list things on Facebook Marketplace, from old liquidation pallets, from cashback products that I still have, from coupon products that I still have, and anything else that I might have that, I would sell on like eBay or something like that I have, okay? So I list on Facebook as reseller, right? I also drop ship on Facebook Marketplace, but I'm not gonna get too much into the nuances of the drop shipping here. I'll just touch on them briefly because I touched on them in depth in that video that I recommended. Like I said, it's the last one on my channel, okay? So I sell on Facebook and I also drop ship on Facebook. I sell on Mercari, again, same thing, liquidation on Mercari, cashback on Mercari, coupon on Mercari a little bit, right? I barely do any really of those anymore, but I still test them from time to time and still sell them from time to time to make sure that they're still viable, although I'm moving away from them. And in the next version of Resale U, I'm taking all three of those out, right? Because I think they're a little bit more beginner. They still work very, very well. I've talked about this in other videos, but they're just too beginner friendly. They're not very easy to scale anymore. And the liquidation, while that works and you can make good money, most beginners that get into it, that take Resale U, that are looking for guidance don't have the patience to build up a liquidation business because they're looking for shorter term profits, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's totally fine. I've noticed over time, like most people don't have the patience for it. So like why even teach it, right? It doesn't align with most people. So I also list on Mercari and I also dropship on Mercari. Right now, I sell a lot on Amazon, so I don't dropship on Amazon. But again, I talk about dropshipping and why you can wholesale dropship on Amazon, but you can't retail dropship on Amazon in that YouTube video. So I sell on Amazon primarily right now. I'm selling wholesale products. I have a bunch of wholesale products in there and I'm selling books. I'm sourcing a lot of books right now, shipping the books into FBA, listing them very, very high, anticipating textbook season, which is coming up in like 2 months, I believe. I'd have to look in specifically where textbook season is, okay? And then every once in a while, I'll also source online arbitrage products from some bulk deal sites if I have time and I want to get back into it, again, to test. But primarily on Amazon, I focus on wholesale and books, mainly wholesale and then books like a little bit here and there when I have some time, as well as like when it's approaching textbook season, like right now or even like a month from now. And then again, I do source online arbitrage products with like bulk sites or software like SourceMogul, okay? That's what I do on Amazon. On Poshmark, I've done a little bit of dropship arbitrage on Poshmark, which you can see the business model that I teach in the course on that. I also do, I'm testing out a little bit of the drop shipping that I talk about in the YouTube video where you're kind of facilitating the sale like you would dropship on Poshmark and then also mailing the label. I'm testing that out briefly just to see if it's viable. See if I think that it's, good long term. I'm just seeing what kind of happens with it and seeing, I'm always like taking the grenades and like in the trenches before doing these things myself, before I ever recommend them to people because I want to see if they work, right? So I'm testing it out, but primarily Poshmark I use to just resell, right? I use to resell listings that I have from liquidation because I have a lot of clothing liquidation still. Again, cashback and coupon, a little bit of what I have left. And I also do the dropship arbitrage on Poshmark because it's very, very easy. You have 3 days to initiate a shipment and Amazon Prime delivers to me in a day or two. But again, I'm also testing the dropshipping. Etsy, I haven't really done anything with, but you can also sell on Etsy. It has to be vintage and handmade. I plan to start dropshipping on Etsy eventually. But I haven't really gotten into it yet. But again, I talk about the different nuances of why that's a good thing and a good opportunity, as well as some of the drawbacks in that actual YouTube video. Highly recommend that you check that out. OfferUp, again, same thing as Poshmark, because with Poshmark and OfferUp, you need to use their labels. You can't use your own labels. So on OfferUp, I sell everything again, right? I sell the liquidation on OfferUp. I sell the cashback and the coupon products on OfferUp. And I'm also doing the dropship arbitrage on OfferUp a little bit. And I plan to test the drop shipping where you also mail the label just like on Poshmark. So you can also sell on OfferUp. Then some of the other ones, Depop you can dropship on. You can also resell on. Kittison you can dropship on. You can also resell on. Grailed you can dropship on, you can also resell on. Tradesy, you can drop ship on, you can also resell on. I'm obviously testing both of those out a little bit on all these platforms. And the reason that I'm bringing them up is because the multi-channel listing software List Perfectly, where you cross post to everywhere, also facilitates listings to those sites, right? So you can drop ship and sell on a number of sites. Probably there's like dozens, if not hundreds out there, but List Perfectly only primarily posts to those. That's why I recommend those, right? So right now, List Perfectly posts to Facebook Marketplace, eBay, which obviously you can sell on as well. And you can dropship on eBay, but don't retail dropship on eBay, only wholesale dropship on eBay. Mercari, Depop, Kittison. I don't really talk about Instagram because I don't recommend that you sell there. I don't really talk about Shopify because I don't personally do that, and that's a completely different business model. Again, don't recommend that you sell there. Grailed, like we just talked about, Tradesy, Poshmark, and Etsy as well, okay? So those are the primary ones that I'm selling on right now, and then also I have been accepted to Walmart. I plan to sell there as well, so any future inventory that I have, if it's books, if it's wholesale, I plan to also use the multi-channel fulfillment in Amazon. That's completely like really in-depth video, so I'm not doing it yet, so I'm not gonna get into it too much here, and I don't want to take you for like too many loops and confuse you. But you can also sell on Walmart. You can also drop ship on Walmart, but you can only wholesale drop ship on Walmart. So that's briefly explaining to you like all the different places that you can sell and all the different places that you can drop ship. So let's move on to the next part of your question. You said, if you have enough time, can you talk about the benefits of drop shipping versus Amazon? So there's two different benefits, right? Like Amazon, for example, is the benefit of an Amazon is you can judge the sales velocity of a product listing. You can go out there and purchase inventory, which you can then ship into FBA, and then Amazon will literally do everything for you. You just have to manage, and you don't even really have to manage your prices if you have if you have software that's going to automatically manage your prices for you, right? I recommend f.a.q. There's a number of them out there, but if you have like an automated pricing system, then you should be able to do that, pretty much on autopilot. And then your main thing is just setting up deals with like wholesale suppliers or sourcing with a software like Scan Unlimited for wholesale, Source Mogul for online arbitrage, or eFlip or Zen arbitrage for books, right? So I like Amazon. I still do it all the time for wholesale and books, and then I also play around with online arbitrage because you can literally spend the time to source and then ship it into FBA, and then it's pretty much hands off for you, right? The benefit, obviously a drawback of that is you need to front the money for the products, right? And then if something changes on the listing, you might lose a little bit more money than you expected, or you might not make as much profit as you expected, or if the listing tanks, your products might not sell, but there's a lot more upside there, in my opinion, right? And Amazon's the biggest marketplace. There's the most sales velocity there, right? So a lot of upside, a little bit more risk because you're spending the money ahead of time. With drop shipping, you're listing products, so you're spending your time, right? You're spending your time to list products. You don't have to front the money until after you get the sale. So you're pretty much guaranteed a profit, assuming the buyer doesn't return it or there isn't an issue with the delivery or anything like that. So you're spending your time. Your profit margins are probably going to be a little bit lower. Not always, but most of the time. And it is scalable, but it's not as scalable, in my opinion, as something like a wholesale on Amazon, okay? So there's different nuances to both. I could literally break that down for like 45 minutes. I hope that kind of covers it briefly, but I would say don't focus on every single thing that I said, like every single marketplace, and don't focus on drop shipping and reselling at the same time. Focus on one of them. Pick one of them, whichever one speaks to you more. Start to do it, master it for like a month or two, and then only once you've mastered it should you branch out to something else, whether that's reselling or drop shipping. But I hope that kind of tackles briefly your question. And then you said, an Amazon having a drop shipping program in the future, or how to drop ship on Amazon. So yeah, you can wholesale drop ship on Amazon by setting up deals with wholesale suppliers who will then ship to your customers yourself. I don't know enough about it yet. It's something I want to get into. There are certain stipulations, so you're allowed to do that. It's fully within the terms of service as long as it's from wholesale suppliers. There's some other stipulations in there, like you can't have like an invoice that doesn't say Amazon in the box, I think. There can't be like a brand on the box or something. There's like other little stipulations in there. So as I get into that, I'll create tutorials on that for you. I haven't fully gotten into it yet. It's something that's on the horizon, and it's something that a lot of my friends do, so I have like insight into it. Definitely something I'm gonna get into both on Amazon and on Walmart specifically. But yes, you can wholesale dropship on Amazon and wholesale dropship on Walmart and on eBay as well, but you cannot retail dropship on any of them within the terms of service, okay? So hope that answers all your questions, guys. You guys have questions. If you have a question for next week's Q&A, keep an eye out on Sunday. I'll try to post the Q&A post on Sunday and then drop them on that video, and I'll turn it into a video answer. So hope you liked the video. Hope I answered your questions, and I'll see you in the next one.